say that theoretically ancient Greek made sense, like the rules made sense. Like when you said edikaio, that's not dikaio. And so we do know that like unrighteous or unjust means not just, but we also know that dikaio sune has that sune part, and we can't figure out why some of these words have sune in them. And like, but I'm not saying that. Like, what I'm trying to say is like, say that the language makes sense, that negations make sense. Like, because in English, do we use a as a negation? Immoral, asexual. I don't want to go through too many of them, but like, so, like, all I'm trying to say is like, say that like these words have relationships that are real relationships that have logical meanings. Then like if I'm trying to figure out the Greek language, like, and I'm trying to be certain about my literal translation, that my literal translation is correct, then I think that I have to start with a words, like, because it's a negation on like on another word. And I think that like that's kind of what I probably need to work on for a little while right now, is like looking into them. But I think that what you find is that certain a words like they don't work. Like when you try to find goth, probably like because you think you can do a gothos, because you can skip the os and you can do goth, and without goth. Which, what do they call them? The Goths? The Goths were considered like barbarians, right? But I don't know. So maybe that does actually work. But I couldn't. There are certain words like I couldn't find when I looked them up in like without the a, like because I'm wondering if Greek makes sense. And all the other languages don't have real rules because they were trying to change that language. And so that's kind of what I want to work on, what I'm working on right now. I just want to point out something. I'm hurt, and I started studying this morning, and I hurt my neck a little bit. I tried to foam roll, and I'm not as bad, but I can feel it. And the reason I got hurt is because I figured out the word goth. And if you know anything about history, the barbarians were known as like they called them that because they said ba ba ba, like they just spoke nonsense. But ba, like I thought ba was sheep in ancient Egyptian, or I was thinking that. Like if I figured out that goth means like unsophisticated and like kind of barbarous, so like improper, like kind of crude, kind of like not very respectable, like if I figure that out, did I like actually do a lot of work this morning? I think I did, like, and I think that it does make sense that like the Greek language did have a lot of negations, and that's kind of like how they, and so like studying words that start with a, and if a is always like not, then like because it's not proper, like it's just crude. Because in English we have like very precise words, but say that back before, like 2,000 years ago, they just negated words, and they said instead of kind, they said unkind. Like I think that you can figure out a lot about the language. So I do think I should be working on this sort of thing, but like I have to like foam roll. And so like I can like talk to, like I need to not be studying Greek like with my head down. Like I need to have it on the board. I need to like tell people, come back to me with a list of words that you know are negations, or like are the positive of a negation, and like come back with a list of this, and like let's work on those words. And like I mean like, and then like I send them off to do work, and then they come back with their work, and then we talk about it again, and then I send them off to work, and they come back and they talk to me again about the work. And so like but I do think this schedule is like a little bit too brutal for me. Like I really do think that being president is just too hard. But that's why I have to be in the Cosmopolitan Hotel. That guy sucks at being president. Like you have no idea. Like you can suck at being president, but being good at being president is very, very, very hard. Like I mentioned yesterday, I decided to study Greek every day because I figured I should just master it. I'm pretty young. I didn't know I was young. And so I've been working on a computer program. And the big problem with not having a staff is I have to write the computer program myself. And like when you are a programmer, like I don't actually need programmers to write the program for me. I need programmers, or I need people to do data entry. And this is kind of the way I'm putting in the data, because I'm examining the words, the specifically negated words, and I'm trying to figure out if they're negated or not. And I think the key is figuring out diphthongs. But that's not the only key. Like I think the key is figuring out suffixes, because I've been thinking about the sune suffix, and I feel like a Greek person's going to be like, yeah, we know. Thanks for telling us that sune is like mega in English, mega important. Like because there's dikaiosune, there's sophrosune, there's plagtosune, wandering. There's Ragmosune, which is being very busy, meddling over. And the moment I saw that, I was like, Socrates is talking to me from the grave. Socrates knows I'll have to figure out Greek someday. Because Socrates says the unexamined life is not worth living. And so like what I concluded with that situation is that I needed to figure out sune, and that's kind of like what led to because Socrates like has a whole book about dikaiosune, and then there's sophrosune, which there's Sophia, wisdom, and these are the virtues. So it's like very wise, like. But it has more meaning than just being wise. A lot of it has to do with oldness, being an old man. Like, because who was it? Socrates was talking about it. Like, you can't read sophrosune until like you're a very old man, and like, and that word can be related to death, because you're not wise until you're very old. That's when you really become wise or something. I don't know. It might be a philosophical concept, but I realized dikaio is actually in here, dikaios. So, like, edikaio makes sense now. And you can figure out how to change the endings based on looking at this sort of stuff. Because basanizo is the past tense, because it's previously not examined, of this negated word, abanistos. And that's why I was talking about examined. I didn't even realize that it was on the screen. So I feel like I didn't do a very good job explaining this in the last video. So because I started going off on abasanistos, because like Socrates says, the unexamined life is not worth living, and it's Socrates' most famous quote. And I think that he might actually be pointing to some Greek words, because did Socrates have the Holy Spirit? Did he have eudaimonia? Like the concept in Greek philosophy of like good demons, like the idea of the forms of the good, the logos, which is in the book of John. What is it? Hey logos. I can't remember the first verse in John where he's like, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word, and it's talking about logos, which is like the idea of like. It's the word for word, but it's the words that come into your head via like a neural interface. But for them, they wouldn't have understood neural interfaces. So he would be saying like from like the heavens, but I would say from like the waves, from the waveforms. So this word right here though does seem to be connected to Socrates, because it was what is justice according to Socrates. Minding one's own business and not being a busybody. And so Palaparamasune seems to be like very over curious. And when I see this great understanding, could be because it's great. Sune, very, very, very sune. And like, I don't know if that, like I looked up sune and it doesn't say it's very, it's always tagged on to another word. And I think sophros is a word also. And so like the sophrosune, and like I think that like once you realize that these words are too long, you've got to be able to break off words and realize that like mega or very or gargantuan. Like there are things we can add to the English language that make it very big, like the suffixes. And like I know Egyptian Arabic enough to know that like you can change prefixes and suffixes, but I think that letter A is always not, unless it's a diphthong, like unless it's like I, because I think I is still want. That's my theory on it still because of Egyptian Arabic. Probably the key to solving the ancient Greek language and like figuring out how to do a literal translation and figuring out how to view it as like a fairly simple language that's not as sophisticated as other languages like English. English is the most sophisticated language. Is trying to figure out how to input the data into the computer. And so I was thinking A with a line over it is Ada. Th is actually th, like that's the only diphthong I'll use. X and G both are, I think, so like Chi and G, both would be an X, and then a long O would be a long O, and then a short O would be a short O. But I think short O is probably going to be always just an O. And then, but if it's an omega, then it's a long O, but they might just both be O's if I forget. Because I have to have a way to put it in the computer because I need to be able to can I get prefixes? Because I have these words with related suffixes that I found, like sune, which I don't think is a suffix. Like I'm trying to figure out words in Greek that are like tagged onto other words. And, I think Socrates can help me with that because this word righteousness is a very bullshit word. And like I've read the Republic of Plato, that's bullshit. And everything in the Bible is righteousness, righteous, unrighteous, which I think undikaios is it's not right. And so, but there are a lot of, it's just, I mean, so it can be not right because I have talked about how justice can be, what's just is what's right. Because the use of the word has a lot, the way a language uses a word is what you have to figure out. Because like a language can use words that like make, which we don't use in English for everything. But we could make everything. Like, I mean, we could make my shoes tied. I mean, really. And so, like figuring out how the use is going to work. But like, I think that if we have to standardize how we input the data, if we're going to, like, if people are going to be able to work together, and that's the thing. I feel like I should be able to work with people. And it sucks that my communications are censored by the descendants of people that changed the Greek language, who probably have like translations of the Greek Bible that are like very literal at the Vatican. And that's why when I say like Italy should take over the Vatican, like Italy and Europe should take over the Vatican, like just take it over. Like, I mean, Russia should take over the Eastern Orthodox, whatever they got. They got their Vatican in Moscow. They should take over the Vatican. Like, I mean, go give me the document. So, sort of pop quiz. How many letters in Greek have two different letters for like when it's at the end of a word versus when it's in the middle of the word? I think it's only sigma. And remember, I was saying "ais" is "I want" in Egyptian Arabic. And I do see a lot of Egyptian Arabic in the Greek sometimes, but it's a lot of Greek too. But I do think that it does make sense because love a prophet, the want of krakadea, and the something else. I want them, but like I do think generally like if it's actually used in the want form, then it would be with a different S. But I think that, but in this dictionary, there is no eyes at all. But in the Bible, there's eyes very, it's like one of the most common words in the Bible. This is like so the Bible, what does the Greek look like? Like this. Like this is the Codex, whatever, whatever. It's the oldest one. The oldest Bible is in what language? Is there Hebrew in the oldest Bible? The oldest one they found? No. It's Greek. The Old Testament is in Greek in the oldest Bible, and that's the Septuagint. So, like when I come up with this way of like changing these letters into English readable letters, that are a little easier for me. Like, is that like all about the computer? I think it's about being able to read it too. I think it'd be easier if it was an L for a lambda, and I think that like for me as an English speaker, it would be easier to do that. Can I, if I like was hanging out with Greek people right now, would I be able to take the Bible and translate it into like my own style of like of Greek letters? It would be instantaneous. Like we can write a computer program. I just need the Bible in Greek. Like if I have a computer Bible in Greek, which I think I probably can. I think I can get that. Like I think I might be able to get a computer Bible in Greek. I think I might be able to do this myself. Like so, I want this. I need like this chart done. And like I need people working for me, and I think we shouldn't do short vowels, and I think that we need to standardize how we change Greek into English, and we need to standardize how we do Russian into English, and we need to standardize how we do Arabic into English, because sometimes the way they do it is like I can't read your Arabic into English. Like I really don't agree with it. So Sune, I think I figured out it's own word. I think it means very, because do they do that in Arabic? Gamila Awi, like Hia Gamila Awi, like she's very pretty. She's Gamila or Jamila. So I've been talking about writing a computer program, which I think I might just do myself now that I've thought about it, but I don't have internet. But like I think I can find a Greek Bible, and if I can find a Greek Bible, I can remove the periods and I can convert the Greek letters into English letters. And I've been thinking about how to convert the Greek letters into English letters. And I want to explain like why I need to convert the Greek letters into English letters. It's because like I need the languages to be compatible for the computer program. Because I don't want the computer program to ever like have to go, well, I think it's going to be AE instead of AI, instead of AY, instead of EH, instead of E. Like it is A with a line over it. And that's the computer program. But like if I have that computer program, like what can I do with it? Like down here I have like I want to know about the suffixes and stuff like that, which I do still want to know about the suffixes and prefixes. But like what I also want to do, like what I can do is actually pull the prefixes myself, and I can say anything that starts with like, let's see if the first three letters have anything in common, and then I'm going to group by the first three letters. And like if they have three letters in common, then that's gonna be something in my computer program. So like what I'm trying to do is like have data that I can work with, and so like I need to get this Bible into a format that I can work with, or like I need to get like a Greek dictionary especially and stuff like that. And so like that's why I'm talking about this, because Abba like could be a prefix, but it's really it's it's not, because without like is and like I really do want to get that deep into like why are some of these words not negatives of this bastanizo. Like, I mean, like I need to know, like, because some of the words are like not negative, and if they're not negative, like we need to know like where is that coming from? Like why are we changing it? Like, because I do think that they used to actually, like, that sound was like a negative, like because it's that important in English, and it's not consistent in English. But like when you get that, like I think like the secret to doing this project is being like the best English understander ever. Because I studied so hard for the GRE, my vocabulary is so hardcore. Like I understand like prefixes and suffixes so hardcore in English. And like I think that's because a lot of it came so much from Greek, or like we were that early of a language coming out of the Greek language. I've been thinking about this software program that I want to write to convert the Bible into like a more readable format that's kind of like this. And like I was also thinking about eyes, and I think that the reason that eyes exists, which like in my dictionary, eyes is not a single word by itself ever, like in my my classical Greek dictionary from Oxford. But eyes is in the Bible so freaking much, and on the eyes, Rainbow Satanica, like I want Rainbow Satanica, and Rainbow Satanica eyes. I don't know. I don't even know what she wants. But all I'm trying to say is that, I think that, that might be one of the reasons that the sigma has two meanings. But I think sometimes you can kind of see it, like the words can be compound words, like love of profit, like want of crocodile. So I want this converted into that, but I want this as the lettering, and I want to make sure I want to convert Arabic for now on. I think I should be able to do Arabic with English letters, because I can do Arabic with Arabic, but the way the Quran is like, you get to read the Quran. What is that letter? I think I do know that letter. I can read Arabic when I read signs and crap like that, but for some reason the Quran's got to do some freaking art on it, and the reality is if the Quran's as awesome as everyone says it is, then it doesn't need to be pretty. The words are pretty. The way it sounds is pretty. All right, so there are no periods in the Bible, and that's why you have to take periods out. And the fact that there are no spaces between letters means that it's that difficult. But I think that what we can do is convert certain words that we know for a fact are always a single word. We can have color codings. Red is we are keeping this word as a single word, like Jesus's words. Kai is. There are a lot of words like that, and then if it's a word like this where we're wondering if it's multiple words, which I don't think we have to wonder if it's multiple words because of the S as the sigma as a not ending S, because that's how you know that word is over. But I don't know what it looks like in this, and that's the thing. They when they convert the Bible for you, it's bullshit. They make it lowercase and uppercase, and they decide on the periods. And I want to know what the manuscripts really. I hate to make another video, but I think that phi needs to be an F, so aganifos would be aganifos. And so this is kind of what I'm doing. It's pretty easy for me to type the Greek words like that. If you have a book publisher and you publish Bibles, would you someone want to go in with me? Because I can do a Greek Bible that is converting these words to this, and it's also doing colors for confirmed words. We guarantee you that's that word, so it's red. If we don't guarantee you as much, it's green. If we're really doubtful, it's blue or something like that. I don't know. I think they're we probably need green and blue. But if we're pretty sure, I think that black is gonna be we don't know, but blue and green are gonna be we're starting to question whether or not that is a word. Because I think that there's a good chance that thesis, where is it? Thesis. A thesis is a thesis, because for some reason I keep seeing the eta translated to an E. A long E for some reason. So a thesis is what it sounds like connected to ice, I want thesis. And so I think that probably thesis is a word. And similarly, theterion is probably a word, and thetos is a word. And so that's what this is about, is figuring out the words. This is boring. I've been looking into what the original Bible Greek looks like, and I think this is it, because this is Codex Alexandrinus. And because I've been trying to figure out how do they start paragraphs? How do you tell the difference between different things? But here you see there's the big C, and go look up what is the letter C in the Greek language. Good luck with that. Because it's actually written in Greek uncial, which is not the standard Greek alphabet. I looked it up, and I think that the oldest Iliad fragments are actually in Greek uncial also. So my guess is that, the Greek language was that. So like, what letter is that? Well, according to this, it's a sigma, because there's a tau, sigma, rho, sigma, tau. Yeah, I can't see it, so I have to just talk to myself. So, like, what would we do for psi? I mean, we could do PS. That's what I think, probably. Because I don't know how to do... I think PS is a very rare arrangement of letters. So I think I figured out how to turn that into that. So the C would be S. The O would be a regular O. And then the P would be an R, but it's not a P, it's a rho. And then the phi would be a F. And then that looks like a L. I can't see. Maybe that's a alpha. Yeah. So, but what I'm trying to say is that like Christians have no respect whatsoever for the Greek Bible. And like, if you know anything about the Muslims, like they are crazy about the Arabic. Like every single dot has to be perfect. Like that's like the whole thing about the Islam is that they're trying to make sure that theirs is perfect because ours is so screwed up. I like that it's called Codex Alexandrinus, because I'm Alex. But what I'm trying to say is like, I think that like when we see all these words, like there's a very good chance that thesis has a relationship to the word thesis, and it has a relationship to seeing someone at some point the want of thesis, or it might be someone saying like Rambo's Satanica is thesis, like she wants sensation or a feeling or something. I don't know. Like I don't actually know what it is at all. But thetos, thamai, like yeah. So like I don't know. Like I got to work on this. I think that sune might be une, and I think that like for an English speaker, like breaking it off with an S at the end is not intuitive. But for a Greek speaker, breaking it off with a sigma at the end is actually like sophros,